It's my belief that the true key to unlocking NFT 2.0, a more mature, respected NFT technological, ecosystem, or maybe that's not even the right word, but just space. The NFT space right now is probably still NFT 1.0. The true key to unlocking the potential of NFT 2.0 is my belief that it actually lies within an asset-oriented framework like Radix and native assets. I think there's so much potential for the native asset approach, especially for the NFT space. Okay, so I just recently watched the Bruno and Piers Ridyard podcast, Bruno from Rmrk.
What you know about layer 1 DeFi, greatest in the world, and they finally about to see why. What you know about XRD, I'm smart money, y'all ain't never on a decline. What you know about NFTs, it's not just Ace, when you finally gonna realize you need scalability, need more utility, then you better call on these guys. I'm going radical, I'm going Radix, I'm going radical, I'm going Radix. Hyperspeed DeFi, never on a decline, building the future, I feel like a savage.
Hello and welcome. I am Piers Ridyard, CEO of RDX Works, a core developer of the decentralized finance protocol Radix, a public ledger entirely focused on bringing DeFi into the mainstream. This is our podcast, The DeFi Download, a show about decentralized finance and all things crypto, where we dive into the details of the projects, assets, and services that are powering the DeFi revolution. Today, I have Bruno, founder of Rmrk. Rmrk is a set of smart contract standards that allow NFTs 2.0s to exist, allowing the industry to elevate NFTs past just monkey pictures. Bruno, great to have you on board.
Great to be here. Thank you very much.
So go check it out. But I was kind of reminded of three major things in this podcast. Bruno's a visionary. Piers, by the way, speaks the language of visionaries. Okay? That's reminder number one. Bruno's a visionary. Reminder number two is that even good or great ideas and concepts, like sometimes these good or great ideas and actually lead to true innovation, are still really hard to ever see come to fruition. Why? Well, they talk about why. They talk about how adoption of great ideas is kind of like the final mile to see these ideas flourish and occur. So I don't know, this interview reminded me of that, because even good or great ideas can still be hard to gain community and ecosystem support around and adopt and decide to adopt. So anyways, that was reminder number two. Reminder number three actually goes back to Piers and Radix, really, because I think in this interview, and there's been a few others that I've seen, there's something I really like about the approach of Radix, what Piers demonstrates here, which is unboundless curiosity and unlimited sort of open-mindedness. This podcast is one to watch if you need to have your spirit renewed for NFT's true potential, okay? I used to love watching Bruno all the way back, probably in late 2021 was when I discovered Rmrk. I made some content around Rmrk and stuff, but it did shape what I see potential for NFTs to this day. A lot of the concepts in the podcast I'm familiar with, or I've seen other folks, attempt to do and discuss. Except the difference here for me was that, guys, I was listening to this guy in 2021 when a lot of this stuff was ideas. Now to actually see that he has a track record and, some of his newer ideas, it makes me feel confident that he'll be able to still take NFTs to a more mature state in the future too. So he's one to watch. Bruno's a visionary. Piers, by the way, speaks the language of visionaries. Okay. So go check it out. But I was kind of reminded of three major things in this podcast. The first, of course, being that Bruno's a visionary and his ideas were ideas at one point, but now we get to see some of them materialized. And now from that podcast, some of his later, newer ideas even, since this interview is from like 10 months ago, if you haven't seen it. It makes me curious what he's cooking now in his brain. So much has changed in the last 10 months. Probably. But anyways, that's reminder number one. Bruno's a visionary. Reminder number two is that even good or great ideas and concepts, especially in these, distributed ledger ecosystems, if you will, or blockchain ecosystems too, but obviously Radix, distributed ledger, even good ideas or even great ideas and magnificent ideas that create potential innovation, opportunity, and maybe prevent certain things that could be bad from happening. Like monopolistic tendencies, or that stifle innovation, or anti-compete frameworks, and like sometimes these good or great ideas that can prevent that stuff, right? And actually lead to true innovation are still really hard to ever see come to fruition. Why? Well, they talk about why. They talk about how adoption of great ideas is kind of like the final mile to see these ideas flourish and occur. So I don't know, this interview reminded me of that, because even good or great ideas can still be hard to gain community and ecosystem support around and adopt and decide to adopt. So anyways, that was reminder number two. Reminder number three actually goes back to peers in Radix, really, because I think in this interview, and there's been a few others that I've seen, there's something I really like about the approach of Radix and what Peers demonstrates here, which is unboundless curiosity and unlimited sort of open-mindedness, right? I mean, this was not a interview to show off all the great things that Peers thinks about Radix. This was Peers interviewing Bruno, really trying to understand what he's doing here with NFTs and what NFT 2.0, do, and also bringing that back as content for the builders in the Radix ecosystem to think about. And it's cool because you can see a relationship sort of form there. So it makes me very curious around how Rmrk and Bruno and Radix end up collaborating, or which ones of these NFT 2.0 sort of things still need collaboration to pull off in the Radix ecosystem. Because the main thing I'll add to that conversation that wasn't set, but you could, I think, I would imagine or guess that Piers was probably thinking it, and I was thinking it when I was watching, which is, I think that, I won't speak for Piers here, because I have no idea what he thinks, but I'm sure you'll get why I think he was thinking this. It's my belief that the true key to unlocking NFT 2.0, a more mature, respected NFT technological, ecosystem, or maybe that's not even the right word, but just space, the NFT space right now is probably still NFT 1.0. The true key to unlocking the potential of NFT 2.0 is my belief that it actually lies within an asset-oriented framework like Radix and native assets. I think there's so much potential for the native asset approach, especially for the NFT space. So I'll leave you with that. Go check out that podcast and let us know what you think. If you're curious, there's lots of great concepts in there. I mean, whether it's emoting NFTs or what nesting NFTs even means, and I'm a big dynamic NFT person in general, so it's very interesting. But I think Radix has a lot of these results that I think Bruno's striving for already embedded into their way of doing things. So it is interesting. I think Radix has dynamic NFTs to a level that is comparable with the most dynamic NFT native asset approaches I've ever seen out of the box. So it's interesting. There's always things that I'd like to think you can add, but I wonder what it specifically is missing from these NFT 2.0 ideas. So you'll see me ask questions and reference this kind of interview in the next few weeks here. But yeah, I just want to get on your radar in case you want to watch it beforehand. So I promised you guys that I would take a look at that Bruno Piers podcast, but I wanted to explain a little bit as to why even like this got on my radar. It all starts with an idea I've been trying to push for quite a bit ever since I thought of it and I thought about how much sense it made. Now, been talking to all sorts of people in a different ecosystem about this idea, but again, good ideas and even great ideas are sometimes never implemented because they don't get adopted, especially in this kind of Web3 space, if you will. So anyways, this is basically the start of the rabbit hole. By watching this interview with Matthew Hines and Piers, you'll understand why this title is written the way that it is. NFT Warehouse, create once, list everywhere. Okay. Now it's a deeper rabbit hole, and I'm still going to be fighting for adoption on this one and also talking with Scripto developers. I'm going to be putting a space together actually soon to do this. And I've been reaching out to a bunch of people to organize a good space because I want to get some Scripto devs and projects in the NFT ecosystem on Radix to discuss kind of what their thoughts were on this and how they would build this with components. Okay. Then Torsten has Heisler, because I got a mention in this podcast from Piers, since I used my podcast to pitch this idea to Piers, and my podcast with Piers was awesome. But at the end, I had a bunch of ideas I wanted to throw at him, but time got short, so I could only throw one. So I threw this one at him. And then he brought it up with Matt, and Matt had some amazing suggestions on how this could work with Radix. So Torsten sort of put this on my radar, that there's a few new concepts with Rmrk, and that led to me kind of showing off this video that I used to make content on Rmrk back in 2021. Because I did, and I watched Bruno, right? So anyways, Hermes dug up this recent podcast with Bruno and Piers that you can go and watch now. And I didn't really know what to think of Torsten at first, but Torsten, I'm going to tag you in this because I just want to say thank you for bringing this up again. It was already said, but watching that podcast with Piers was a reminder that Bruno's a visionary, and I'm not going to forget to keep him on my radar, and I suggest others don't forget to do the same. All right. Got a few more things to do, so I'm going to keep this short. Go check that out. Peace.